other Klingons?
There are no others on board.
Why?
The Federation and the Klingon Empire were enemies for many years. No other Klingons have asked to serve in Starfleet.
Why?
A warrior does not ask so many questions.
Well, hello and good evening. Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 4, Episode 7, Reunion, first aired back in 1990, but here in 2026 on Live Long and Podcast. We're just getting started. Whether you're joining us live on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, wherever you catch your audio podcasts, our mission to rewatch every episode of TNG continues. One Klingon power struggle, one shocking assassination, and one seismic shift in Worf's life at a time. And now this is your captain speaking. I'm your host, Dave Mater. And we've been off for a few weeks now. And you could say that this is a reunion of sorts. In this episode, Ambassador Kalar returns to the Enterprise to advise Captain Picard, who has been chosen as a neutral party to arbitrate the selection of the new Klingon leader from two candidates, Gowron, Worf, and Duras, one of whom is suspected to be a traitor. Spoilers, it's both of them, kind of. But it's mostly Duras. And we got a great panel here to break it all down. Once again with us, stylish, sharp, and tuned into the emotional core. She's watching every moment of Worf's internal struggle, the tension with Kalar, the shock of Alexander's existence, and the heartbreak that follows. When honor clashes with love, she is our guide. It is Heather Narduzzi.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our reunion. I'm super stoked. I love this episode, and I've been waiting for it to come around. Season 4 is just full of bangers, and this is a great one. Let's get into it.
100%. Glad to have you with us. Of course, Captain America himself, from Washington, D.C. to Brantford, Ontario, to the Great Hall of Kronos. He's ready to break down the power plays, the accusations, the escalating tension between Gowron and Duras, and if the Klingon Empire is on the brink, he's already analyzing the battlefield. Chris Shaggy Vasilis.
Much love for Susie Plaxton in this episode.
Much love, much love. Great, glad to have you with us, Shaggy. And of course, you could call him the arbiter of succession. Tonight, he's tracking the political machinery of the Klingon Empire, the dying chancellor, the rivalry between Gowron and Duras, and the deadly stakes of choosing a new leader. When this episode asks who's manipulating whom, he's already following the trail. It's Adam Woodward.
Hey guys, Dave, great introduction. This is a great episode, and Shaggy, you called it out. Susie Plaxton's amazing, but very sad that we don't get to see her much after this.
Yeah, it's a pour one out for Susie Plaxton / Kalar. As mentioned, we are talking about Reunion, the 7th episode of the 4th season of Star Trek The Next Generation, the 81st episode overall that aired on November 5th. 1990. Remember the 5th of November, as they say. So we'll start with the story. The story by Drew Dayan, Thomas Perry, and Joe Perry, with a teleplay by Thomas Perry, Joe Perry, Ronald D. Moore, and Brandon Braga. I don't know if this is the first official Moore Braga collaboration, but it could be, at least on paper. And it is a banger, as Heather has alluded to. Very Shakespearean, very epic in terms of its narrative and how it falls into Worf's overall storyline. That will carry into Deep Space Nine and that series as well. Of course, a great tragedy with losing a great character, a recurring character in Kalar. We only got our 2 episodes here.
Crying shame that we lost Kalar.
100% agreed.
But Klingons have no tear ducts, so there will be no crying in this baseball. And at our first introduction of Robert O'Reilly as Gowron.
Love it.
Yes,
Masterful.
I know. I honor you.
Oh, I thought that was going to be my Gowron thing, but I guess I have it on a different key. But yes, Gowron, Robert O'Reilly with the intensity as the new rival for the Klingon High Council. This whole storyline will culminate at the end of this season 4, with Worf choosing to go off into the Klingon Civil War with Gowron's faction against the Duras sisters, who are yet to be introduced, but they will be making their splash soon.
Love the Duras sisters too. And it's interesting that you mention Shakespearean, because I was fortunate enough to see Robert O'Reilly and J.J. Hertzler, who of course played Gowron and Martok, at a panel at our lovely convention HalCon in Halifax a few years ago, maybe if more than a few years ago. But they both talked about how comparing the Klingon language and bearing and performing it as Shakespearean, as grand and as serious as that. And I think it really comes through in Robert O'Reilly. What a great introduction to Gowron.
Absolutely. Adam, what are your thoughts?
This storyline was probably the most compelling in all of Next Gen for me. I loved this this arc, heading into the treachery of the Klingons, but also just the whole political structure, which we never really saw before. And,
no, you don't.
But the fact that a woman can be really strong, you have what was the other thing I was going to say here? Just the whole political structure, but also the dependence on myth, really. Meaning, their honor and but it's a kind of a lie, which I found very interesting too. So anyway, great starting to a amazing storyline.
There is no honor in attacking the weak.
Tell that to some Klingons.
But you know what else? Maybe this is the wrong time to say this, but Worf has this image in his mind. He doesn't even live in the Klingon Empire, never really lived there, but he's got this image of what it is, and I think he becomes really disillusioned through this.
Yeah, and it's eventually Jadzia in Deep Space Nine who says, you claim to love all these Klingon traditions and everything else, but you're not really like a lot of Klingons I've met who, they say they follow all these things, but they don't really,
and they laugh and they carry on. And as we know, Worf is not a merry man. But I don't remember if it's canon or if it's in a book, but I remember there was some speculation that the reason Worf was so rigid about Klingon tradition and honor and everything is because he was raised by humans, and that was a way for him to explore and experience his heritage. Love you too, Sinister. Mwah.
That's okay. I'll take BC
and the rest
Heather
of you
anytime.
I get named, and the rest of you.
And the rest of us. We're like the Gilligan's Island cast. And the rest.
Yes, of course. Speaking of which, Shaggy, what do you think about this storyline? Of course, this all came out before you were born, so you're watching it on the reruns many years later.
Oh my God, did this come out before you were born?
I at this point, when the episode debuted, I'd be a couple of weeks old.
Okay.
If it's 5th of November, I am like 2, maybe 3 weeks old at this time. I love this storyline. This is top 3 all Next Gen episodes for me. I just love this. Really wish we could have had more appearances from Kalar. She's a great character. And everybody's right. It's such a nice view into the Klingon political structure. And I think it's General Chang who said, you've not experienced Shakespeare until you've heard it in the original Klingon. Mm-hmm. Very fascinating that their society is very Shakespearean.
And I also like the galactic dynamic of the Romulans are more on the Duras faction at this point, or they're supporting the Duras faction with this explosion that happens aboard Kim Peck's vessel. That will eventually tie back to Duras and kind of indicate that the Romulans are kind of pulling the strings. That will also come up later on this season, the finale, when all of a sudden we meet Sela for the first time, played by Denise Crosby, and how that's all going to play out. And then of course the whole Alexander of it all, like, you know, this son of Worf that he pretty much sends away at the end of the episode after he's now the legal guardian. He's like, I call my Earth parents. It's, you know, you wouldn't want to live here.
Your father. Now go live with your grandparents. See ya.
See you later. Yeah, and we've talked about that a lot in the Deep Space Nine podcast. Like, Worf as a dad leaves a lot to be desired. Not exactly. He has these like reservations about, oh well, I'm a disgraced Klingon and I can't have that onto Alexander and etc. But I think a lot of that is just what he tells himself.
Excuse.
Yeah. And I do like that they write Worf to be this imperfect character. Like, he's not like this, you know, Superman who always does the right thing. That he has some not so great things in his lineage, I guess.
But the funny thing is that we've learned more about Klingon culture through Worf, and then I think that we become just as disillusioned with it as he is through this storyline. You know, like everything that Worf has told us is wrong. You know.
Yeah. So. Exactly. There's and even the statement, there is no honor in attacking the weak. Well, perhaps not, but a lot of Klingons do, or wouldn't think of, you know, a second thought about it. Yeah. So lots to talk about. You know, we run through the screenshots and we'll talk about the plot. But yeah, there's so many memorable moments, and I was just watching this again today, going, there's not a dull moment in this script, in this whole 45 minutes or whatever it is. Like, nothing is sort of superfluous at all.
It doesn't really meander like some of Ronald D. Moore and Brandon Braga's later work.
Yes, in particular, we just finished up season 5 of For All Mankind, and you know, we don't know how much Ronald D. Moore wrote that storyline, but
well, he didn't read the script either because he got bored.
Yeah, he seems like he moved on to other things. By the way, just have you either of you watched the Star City show yet?
I haven't watched it yet.
I have not.
I watched the one episode, and they're doing that thing where it's Russia, but it's actually England, and every character is just English, and we're meant to take them as Russian, I guess. Like, kind of, you see Chernobyl or something.
You can't complain too much about that because we're watching a show where a gentleman named Jean-Luc Picard speaks in British accented English. So
yes, but it's kind of like when every character is just in British accents, and it's just they're all just speaking English to each other, and there's not really anything. But it's interesting because you're seeing glimpses of the original For All Mankind season 1 already. So,
well, I'm sure it's better in the original Klingon.
Of course it is. As you know, and with that said, we're going to jump into this episode, Reunion, and talk all about it as we'll break down the plot. Pretty simple story in some ways. It starts off with the Enterprise. It's doing some kind of scientific survey somewhere. They were checking something out. But just before they can get onto their scientific mission, oh, hey, there's a Klingon battlecruiser decloaking right next to us.
Okay, stop. Right here. Riker again proves that he is a sucky, very poor first officer. He has to ask his captain, "Oh, are there Klingons reported in the area?"
Yeah, you know? He should know this.
Exposition, Adam. Okay,
no,
Riker.
No, it's a bad first officer.
I've had it with your Riker hate this season.
He's the worst. He doesn't know when. Like, if I was a captain and he asked me that question, fired.
Would it, if it worked the other way around? If
it would have been much better because he said, "Hey, I didn't see any briefs on this. Did this happen?" Number one, and then if he confirmed it, I would have been very happy.
All right, take note, screenwriters. Best if the first officer knows these answers, not the captain having to tell the first officer. Even though they do have a higher clearance, they have a security clearance. I guess that would be the only rationale I could think of.
I can sort of see Adam's point because I feel like if it was like in the original series sense, Spock would be the one to be like, "Hey, there's been reports of Klingon in the areas. You should know this." So I sort of see where Adam's coming from on this.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, well, there's a Klingon ship here, and they're hailing us. And I think this is the first time we see the Vorsha battlecruiser.
Love it.
I love this ship. I love this design. We'll see it many times throughout TNG and into Deep Space Nine. Not sure what Voyager, but it's my favorite Klingon battleship. It's showing that whole fusion of the Federation technology, especially with those nacelles, and it looking a little more modern than some of the other Klingon ships that we'll see comparatively next to it, or I guess not less modern ones. But guess who it is? It's Kalar, Susie Plaxton. She's back since first time since season 2. It will be one of her 1 of 2 appearances. And
she looks, can we go back one? She looks so good. They killed it with her makeup. Like her highlighter, her lip, like she's so beautiful anyway. But
even the smirk on her face there.
Pardon?
The smirk, like she's got a tiny little smirk.
Yes. Just her demeanor and she's marvelous.
Aura.
Yeah, definitely great. Picard's happy to see her, like familiar face, and she's like, "I gotta come on board and talk to you. Big news." And then Worf, of course, uncomfortable to see his old flame. Even though they kind of left
and she just says, "Mr. Worf."
Mr. Worf. And so
look at her. Oh, I love her.
Oh yeah, so she's gonna beam over. So Picard decides Worf as chief of security to go meet her, and he was like, "Can we assign somebody else for this, maybe?" And Picard's like, "Why? What for? What reason?" He's like, "Well, she's my old girlfriend, you know." And he's like, "Do your job. You're a Starfleet officer." And this kind of like part of the theme of the episode, if Worf trying to navigate his personal life and his culture with his duties as a Starfleet officer, which will come to.
He's always doing this. Sir, I need to be excused from duty. And Picard's like, "For what?" And Worf's like, never mind, I guess.
Never mind, sorry.
All the time.
Yeah. So anyway, Worf heads down, and the transporter chief says, "Oh, there's 2 people beaming over." And he's like, "Well, that's kind of weird, but whatever." And he has this very like excited look, like almost too excited look that Kalar's about to beam aboard. You know, he's kind of putting on the face, and then we hear the transporter beam materializes, and then his eyes wander to his right, and we see that the 2 people are Kalar and a very small Alexander.
This is so cute. I know everybody hates on Alexander, but like rewatching it for the pod, I was so struck by this image of the 2 of them together and how little he is in his little blue outfit. Oh, adorable.
And
how fast young children grow. I feel like pretty fast.
And they live longer than humans too, as we also will establish later on, if they don't die in battle, which most of them do. But
Alexander's not going to die in battle.
Probably not. And yeah, so
like the form-fitting, jumpsuits that she was wearing in the first episode where we met her is now gone. She's in mom wear.
She's in her mom outfit, I guess. And so, yeah, in this appearance, Alexander's played by John Paul Stewart, who at this time would have been about 6 years old. But
I thought about that when I was watching it, actually, and maybe Adam, you can dig this up for us in fun facts. I noticed that the name was John Stewart, and I thought it was Brian Bonsall playing Alexander all along. And I feel like this kid looks like Brian Bonsall. So I wonder if he was using a different stage name, or if I'm just like Mandela affecting myself.
No, he did. This is his one and only appearance as Alexander.
It's a different kid. Okay.
It's a different kid. Yeah. This actor has since passed. It's almost some years ago. So at the age of 33. But I think he's pretty good in this performance, actually. And there's just kind of like a what, like Worf, you are the father, and we are going to commercial, and we'll get your reaction right after this, and that is our teaser for the episode.
Now, for those of you who watched it live, which I think was only Adam, because Dave, you were little, and I was not super.
Yeah, I'm only a year older than the actor playing Alexander, so
right, but like I only started watching Star Trek after. But Adam, were you like gagged at this to see it live? Was it a huge surprise? What did people think about it?
Well, I mean, so what year was this?
90.
Yeah. So, I was in first year university. Okay. Yes. this was a big reveal. We would have Star Trek watch parties, and then go to the pub afterwards. So it was Worf as a kid, like, this is the reaction, and how do we not know this? And then I remember there was so it cut to commercial here, and then the funniest thing is when you go back, Worf's ignoring it, completely ignoring it.
Right. As we get our title card after the credits, and I guess, it can't be that big of a shock that this kid shows up, because they clearly do it in the last episode she was in with him, which was called, I forget the other episode.
Emissary.
The Emissary, the other episode with Kayla, right? And then they want to get married, but then they won't. But so I almost feel like they were setting this up even in season 2. I don't know if they had made that decision yet. Maybe Adam will have to get that in fun facts. But
I don't know if you know this, Dave, but not every incidence of sex leads to a child.
I do know that, but it's just interesting that they introduce this character, just have them do it, just for her to leave, and then she comes, and then I don't know if they were planning to bring her back in 2 seasons or not. But it was an interesting choice. I think it works well in terms of thing. And and then Worf, as Kalar drops off Alexander at this school on the Enterprise, and Worf is just like, well, what's up with this? And they end up in a turbolift here together. She's quite amused by his discomfort at the whole situation.
This line here, is there something you want to ask me?
Yeah, it's something you want to ask me, and he was like, "Do I have to ask?" And she was like,
yes.
"Yeah, you do."
Go back one. Directed by Jonathan Frakes.
Oh yes, directed by Jonathan Frakes. I think I forgot to mention that. Yeah, even though he's not in the episode a ton, but a little bit. Anyway, so
better to have a better question.
Right. And then she goes, do I have to ask? And she's like, yeah. So he just walks out of the turbolift, and then she goes, so who do I tell Alexander his father is? And he's just like, ugh, and he's kind of gets this uncomfortable thing, and he walks away without looking back at her. It feels real, quite relatable. And then we head up into the conference with Kalar explain what she's doing here. Not just to reveal to Worf they have a kid, but there's an official thing, like they're going to be picking the new Chancellor of the Klingon Empire, because Kimpak, the one we had met previously, he's dying. And this is going to lead to a Klingon civil war of some kind, like it always does. She explains, every time there's a Klingon civil war, eventually everyone has to get involved too. Like in the Federation will be no different. Just they're like, whatever, what? She's like, the usual, power.
I like how she's so cavalier about it. She's the perfect.
She's the perfect ambassador, because she's just like, she's from both worlds, and she just breezes past a lot of the parts of Klingon culture that she finds tiresome and sort of stupid.
Yeah, that's exactly it. She lets her disdain show for it. It's just ridiculous. We got to deal with it. Come on, you gotta help.
Yeah, it's more Klingon stuff. What can I do? What can I say?
And she doesn't have any time for all of the posturing.
Mm-hmm.
Murder, mayhem, a couple of laughs.
Sure.
Exactly. And that there's going to be, I don't know if we know yet who the 2 challengers are yet. I don't think that's revealed in this meeting, but that Captain Picard, they're here because of Picard, that Kimpak wanted to see Picard specifically, because he had been Chardich to Worf when he had challenged the ruling of the High Council about his father in the previous season. And now, that kind of established a Picard, Kimpak rapport, I suppose, connection here that is now being seen through. So Picard makes his way over to Kimpak's ship. Again, we get another great shot here of the Vorchak class attack cruiser. Love it.
Super cool ship.
Super cool. I love it. And Picard shows up to meet with Kimpak, who is dying, very frail. He's looking even more plump than he did in his previous appearance.
You are still fat, Kimpak.
You are still fat, Kimpak, and you are, you're not getting it on with what's her name. I can tell you that.
So what I also like about this, and you can't capture it here, but as Kimpak sits down, like the leather creaking on his, his big body, but just the whole, this scene is great. Like the way it's lit it's dark, and the chairs are so solid, but like particularly like the leather, like the sound of it all,
Yeah, and just his performance, like him, like I'm a dying old warrior, and him explaining what is happening here, that he's going to die soon. He's been, poisoned by somebody, very un-Klingon like, and he doesn't know who did it, but someone was putting some poison in his wine slowly over the course of some time. We'll find out.
Which I noted he's still drinking it.
Yeah, he's like,
I'm already dead. Might as well enjoy.
Like, I don't know if this particular batch is all poison or if he's just like resigned that he's going to die anyway. So whatever. But there's no cure. We find out here too, and he didn't call Picard for medical help. He's here because you're going to pick the new leader of the Klingon Empire, Picard. And Picard's like, what the hell? I can't do that. You can't be serious. And he's like,
my job description.
I've already given the order. And by the way, if a Starfleet officer were to refuse this request, it would be a grave dishonor. And it could like fracture the alliance.
Yeah, sure.
Sure. So Kimpek's got him like checkmated here. He's like, you don't got a choice, Picard. I need you to get in here and be the Arbiter of Succession, which we find out the Arbiter of Succession is kind of just a ceremonial role that just lets the two challengers fight for whoever gets to be the next leader, and that's it. But Kimpek wants to find out who poisoned him. That's so un-Klingon, and we find out that the two challengers are Gowron, who a new character at this point, and Duras, who Picard definitely knows from the previous episode. So Picard is like, okay, I'll do it. I don't really have a choice, and I'm gonna, because if somebody were to, realign the Empire against the Federation, that is, not good for anyone either. So Picard is kind of, forced in this position reluctantly. And Kimpek's like, find out who killed me, find out who's poisoned me, because that is ultimately why I've really called you. I can't trust any of my Klingons to do this. So then I think we get right away that we find out Kimpek has died right after this. I think in the captain's log,
something like that, yeah.
And we find out that Kimpek he's been Chancellor longer than anyone in history. I don't know how long Gorkon was Chancellor or his daughter, but it was not as long as Kimpek by any means. So
Gorkon was cut short.
Yeah, or later
also
Gowron.
Assassination.
Yeah, most of them get assassinated or they die in battle. Seems like Kimpek was the exception. Then we go back to the Enterprise, where we have Alexander in the school fighting for blocks and growling at the other kids.
It's like the other kids are looking at him. What's wrong with you?
That's right. We have lots of blocks, kid. It's not a block shortage here. But then Worf shows up to discipline him, and says
his first interaction with his son is discipline.
Yeah, pretty much.
Go to your room.
Yeah. Go to your room. That's not very Klingon of you. That's not honorable. Stop. Don't do that. And then there was the clip I played at the beginning, which was, why are there no Klingons here?
Where are the other Klingons?
There are no others on board.
Why?
The Federation and the Klingon Empire were enemies for many years. No other Klingons have asked to serve in Starfleet.
Why?
A warrior does not ask so many questions.
And he's like, I don't want to be a warrior. And he's like, what? That is not cool at all. So then they come back here to Kalar, and Kalar sends Alexander to play in his room.
And this again, it's a scene between these two. Like how Worf treats his son is so completely 180 from how she treats her son. Like,
yes,
very, very human like,
Right. They get into this argument here. He's like, he doesn't know anything about our Klingon ways. This is bullshit. What are you talking about? Right. And she's like, I'm half human and I don't need to teach him any of that stuff, if I don't want to. And he's also my son. And so they get into a little bit of an argument here about why he accepted discommodation and why they can't get married and all this stuff.
Yeah, but I don't think they're there yet. But she definitely questions. Like she says to him here, what really happened? Like, you wouldn't accept this.
Oh, maybe this is more where he's just giving her, like, why didn't you tell me about him?
This is
right?
They're setting it up for that other conversation. But she ends it with that, like, what happened on, at the homeworld? Like, what happened? You wouldn't have accepted this. There's
Yeah,
more
I know
to
you
it.
challenged the discommodation, or like and then you ended up accepting it. Why? And he won't reveal. He's all tight-lipped about it. Anyway, but they get into it, and that he can't acknowledge Alexander as his son because of all the dishonor that would follow him and everything else, etc., etc. Which Kalar doesn't personally
That's what every deadbeat dad says. I can't because of the dishonor.
Yeah, exactly. I can't. It would be too dishonorable. Which Kalar doesn't personally care about, but Worf does, right? Then we get our next scene here because Gowron and Duras, they both show up on their respective birds of prey, flanking the Kimpex battle cruiser here for this next scene. And who is it on the comm to talk to Picard? It's our old friend Duras, who is always unpleasant, And just as he's like, when are we having the meeting, Picard? And he's like, in an hour. He's like, why? He's like, why the delay? He's like, no delay. That's when I picked the time of the meeting. That's when I scheduled it. It's been scheduled. But just then, as he's talking to Picard, Worf comes on the bridge, and I guess Duras notices him through the view screen and says, you don't let that dog come to our meetings, that traitor. Even though we know very well that Duras knows the truth, but he just likes to taunt Worf anyway. Worf did slap him across the face last time they saw each other, so probably he's not too happy about that. Anyway, Worf just has to kind of like take his licks there, and he's just kind of brooding about it here on the bridge. But then he gets called. Picard calls him into the ready room, and Worf and Picard have this chat about, I think this is where Picard tells him that Kimpak was poisoned and everything else, and Worf's like, it must be Duras, right? He's like, how do you know it's Duras? He's like, it's because his father was a traitor. And Picard's like, well, it's nice that that's your philosophy, but I don't consider Duras a traitor just because his father was. He did try to pin the crime on you, and he's guilty of that, but like Picard's trying to make the distinction here. But Worf, even though he doesn't know for sure that Duras is behind the poisoning of Kimpak, he's like, whoever it is cannot be allowed to run the Empire. That's like too much of a scumbag. You can't allow that person to be the head of the Klingon Empire, no matter what. And that's what Picard is here to do. So, looking for Picard's Worf's counsel. We head back to the Kimpak ship for this ceremony, which is where we get Kimpak's corpse with pain sticks, Klingon pain sticks, to prove that he's dead. This is part of the ritual.
The Quan-Chi ceremony is called.
Yes. And, we get to see Gowron for the first time.
And his great eyes and his
He makes a splash. He doesn't even say anything really in this. Like, he says 2 Klingon words or something. As he gets, called in, Duras comes in with his entourage, I guess including whoever will blow up their arm in this scene, as we'll find out. And just the eyeballing here from Gowron to Duras and vice versa.
So Dave and I saw Robert O'Reilly? Yeah, Robert.
Yeah, Robert O'Reilly.
On that Star Trek cruise, and even as an older man now, he still has the buggy eyes. It's great.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he'll always have that. Like, he's got these blue eyes, like, just pierce through his makeup so strong. And just the way, and just the way he holds his mouth. You'll see a few other shots of him here in this episode, but he talks with his eyes.
He talks with his eyes. Does he ever?
Yeah. Kimpak gets the whole pain stick treatment here. First Picard, then Gowron does it. And you get like a little bit of a smirk here from Gowron that he knows Kimpak's dead. We also, like, Worf says that he doesn't know much about Gowron other than he's an outsider that challenged the council a bunch of times. So that's kind of Gowron's reputation. A leader of a powerful faction, but I would guess a less powerful faction than the Duras family. And then you got Duras himself doing the pain stick, and when he does the pain stick on Kimpak, it's a little extra like personal, I would say. Because we know that he knew Kimpak pretty well on the High Council. So he's declared dead, and now normally this is when like Gowron and Duras would just try to kill each other for like the right, but Picard's like, nope, we're not doing it here. We're having a recess and we're stalling for time. Just then, the the bomb goes off, and it's the explosion here. Kimpak doesn't jump at it because he's dead, but everyone else is thrown off here. We'll find that 2 Klingons will die in this explosion, including the one that has the thing embedded in his arm. And then we get commercial, and there's a bit of a time jump after this. We come back here. We find out Kalar is okay. She's in her quarters. Worf comes to check on her. And, there's a little bit of a flirtation here between Kalar and Worf. She's like, "Are you just coming to check on that I'm okay?" And then he gets those, like, sexy eyes going on here. And then they start grabbing each other. They start talking Klingon stuff. Like, what did she say earlier she said in the Turbolift, like, no bite on the cheek for old time's sake or whatever.
Just cue the Barry White and the wine.
Yeah, exactly. Just play the Klingon opera. They're getting all like Klingon sexed up here for a bit, but then
he's just trying to have a booty call, and he's like, "Let's take the oath."
I
already told you we're not taking the oath.
Well, he's starting to get into it here, and then he's like, "Oh no, I can't. I'm gonna do horny here. This is not acceptable. I can't. What about the kid? And I'll dishonor you and Alexander." And then she's like, "Come on, like it's okay." Like
I don't dig that ridiculous Klingon bullshit.
He's like, "Well, I do. I really do. It's my ridiculous Klingon bullshit." And he's like, I can't take it. And then he's like, I can't, like, what if Alexander wants to live in the Empire one day? I can't do that to him,
Jim says, baby mama drama is peak Klingon foreplay.
Exactly.
I do have some sexy fun facts about Klingon sex play in a little bit.
Excellent.
Can't wait. Cannot wait.
Sexy fun fact.
And this is where Kalar says, well, if you can't be his father, will you at least be his friend? And Worf's like, yeah, I can do that. I'm willing to do that.
Spoiler, he does neither.
Yeah, he's more like an acquaintance.
Just yells at him every now and then.
Yeah.
Right. Like an uncle. A distant uncle. Anyway, then sometime later we got the next meeting here between Picard and Kalar, where he's like, "What? How do I keep this going? How do I like delay further?" And she's like, "I don't know. You can't. Like, you're gonna have to have the next section." And he's like,
"I love this outfit with like the sparkly burgundy and the kind of boat neck moment that's happening here. Love it."
She's great physicality.
I like her other episode outfits better.
Well, yeah.
I like these ones too, though. But yeah, she has a great like just physical presence on screen. The way she holds her eyes, and
she does. But she also, when she transfers herself into playing Dr. Solar, she does that so well too. That Klingon or that.
Yeah, you feel it in her body language. Even when she played that, like when she plays the Q later on, or even the end.
Q, I feel like is just omnipotent Kalar without the forehead.
Yeah, and her other character was this Andorian she played in Enterprise, which is probably my least favorite of her performances. But even that was more like she played that more like a soldier, I would say, because that's who the character was. Anyway, but she finds out that, or she reveals to Picard here that there is like this old way of doing like the Arbiter of Succession, where you have to get like the challengers to like state their feats and all their battles and everything else, and you can if you do it that way, you can probably keep this going. And she's like, and you can do it that way if you want. Like, so she's a bit of like this legal advisor. And as she's leaving the room, she says, "Hey, Picard, will you tell me what happened with Worf and the whole High Council thing last year?" And he's like, "No, I can't talk about it. I'm sworn to secrecy." And she's like, okay, fine. But maybe, And then on the next scene, we go back. We're still on the Enterprise, where Picard and Kalar show up to talk to Duras and Gowron. We're like, can we kill each other yet? Because we're really looking forward to that. And just Gowron like, "You can try if you dare, Duras." Man, so much great old Robert O'Reilly. Them kind of just showing their fangs to each other. And there, this one part where they're like gotta get into the fight, but Picard, he lays the smack down here. He's like, no fighting on the Enterprise. This is not cool. I'll get my security guy to phaser you. And he's like, we're gonna do the mechpa, or we're gonna do like the old way. of doing it, and they're just like, what? We're gonna do like we have to like cite our deeds and everything else. He's like, unless you want to withdraw from the succession claim. And they're like, fine. How long is that gonna take? Hours? Maybe days, according to Kalar. But they both want to be chancellor, so that's what it's gonna take. They're gonna go through the process. Then we have Worf and Alexander. This is like, I guess, the beginning of their friendship scene, where Worf teaches him how to use a bat lift. Alexander's studying it in the quarters here. Worf says it's been in our family, not my family, but our family for many generations, as it was his father's before him. It's a really small bat lift, actually, I thought, compared to some of the other ones I've seen. And then Worf's like, no, let me show you how to hold that. And he's like, make it part of your arm. Make it part of your body. Like, you stupid kid, give me that. And then you hold it like this, and you do all these things. It's like riding a bike, really. But Worf trying his best to teach him some stuff. Any reaction to this scene?
I think, again, looking at his decor and the lighting in his quarters, it's always dark. Like he lights his room like a Klingon ship.
Yes. And you even see this whole, like, the statue of, like, I think this is meant to be Kalis and his brother having the epic fight or whatever. I don't know if we've seen that before. It was really good set design for his quarters, and contrasting it with the Klingon's ship itself. Then we got Kalar. She's doing some research in the observation lounge, and then Gowron comes to see her about this whole, like, the whole longer ceremony of it all and everything else. And he's like, Picard listens to you. Maybe you can direct him in my direction, like get around all this stupid procedures. I just want to kill Duras, really. And she was like, well, why would I help with you, Gowron? I feel like this scene is meant to misdirect us, to make us not trust Gowron, that he could be the one who poisoned Kimpek.
Yeah, because we're all thinking it's Duras at this point.
It must be Duras, and it is Duras, but like they don't want us to be like thinking Gowron's some kind of a good guy at this point.
Gowron's not a good guy either.
He's not a good guy, but he's preferable to Duras, I guess. Yeah. Not a high bar, but anyway. And so she kind of like, he almost tries to bribe her with like, I can give you a cool assignment. I can give you a ship of your own. And she kind of tells him off, and he kind of laughs at her.
Oh, a seat on the council.
A seat on the council, but women can't have seats on the council. So
Gowron would be in the position to change that.
Maybe he would. Anyway, so
you learn nothing from Trump. You can change anything you want.
You can change, just make up the rules as you go. Anyway, then we get the scene in engineering with Riker, Geordi, and Data talking about the explosion. What did we learn about the explosion that happened on Kimpek's ship earlier? And Geordi and Data reveal, it was a molecular decay detonator, which points to the Romulans. They're the only species that uses that. Dun, 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 the Romulans are involved.
Who are the Romulans? I can Riker. I can't remember who they are.
He'll know about them next week. Anyway.
Riker.
Which immediately calls this conference up in the observation lounge with like Picard and the senior officers and Kalar. Well, I guess senior officers minus Deanna and Beverly. But anyway.
Seems kind of sexist.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I don't think
Kalar's there, so the woman quota is filled. You can't have more than one woman on screen at the same time. Nobody would watch that.
It'd be too much aura.
I guess later on, when it's Beverly and Kalar on screen together, Kalar's dead by then, so it was okay. Actually, I don't think Deanna appears at all in this episode, does she?
I don't remember her.
She had the week off.
Good for her. Anyway, so talk about the implications of if the Romulans are involved, if they're supporting one of the factions. What could this mean? Could this destabilize the Empire? And then Worf's like, it's Duras. It's got to be Duras because of the Romulan connection. And Kalar's like, what do you mean? Why do you bring that up? But Worf's like, I can't talk about it. And then she's like, Picard, can you talk about it? And he's like, no, I can't talk about it either. Which will send her down this path of investigating things just to get murdered by Duras. Not saying it's their fault, but hey, if they just been a little willing to disclose some of these things, maybe it would have gone better.
Break out the shovels. We're going digging.
We're going digging for someone to blame because Duras is dead by the end of this, and I feel like someone else has got to be responsible. Because Kayla goes on her mission. She starts going through logs, trying to figure out what to piece together what she can figure out because her security clearance doesn't go that high. And she's gonna go through the records one by one. Afterwards, we get a scene here with Gowron doing his his testifying to his deeds in the the Empire and everything. And Picard's like, very good. That was a very good speech, Gowron. I guess Duras already did his before, so breaking this all down. And I think Picard he's trying to stall for more time with like yet another ceremony or something. Because he calls in Worf, and the plan was, let's pull you and Worf, and it's going to make them very uncomfortable when we do. And Worf comes in, and Gowron's not happy about it any more than Duras. Get this dog out of here, this traitor. But Worf's like, Worf's my chief of security, and he's got some bomb forensics to break down for you. What do you know? What kind of explosive it was? And Gowron and Duras currently did their own investigations. They're like, it was just a normal explosive. Duras looking more and more guilty and nervous throughout the scene because he does know what happened here. And, Gowron's like, it was just a simple explosion. What's the big deal? He's like, oh, it wasn't just a simple explosion. It was a Romulan device, a molecular decay detonator. And then
you guys didn't find. I found it. Actually, it was dated Geordi, but I'm taking the credit. And... Duras, he wants to leave this meeting almost right away. He's kind of feeling the walls close in on him a little bit. I think Michael Dorn's about to cry in the screenshot, but he's so
look at that. There is a tear there.
Yeah, maybe it was late when they filmed this.
Maybe he's thinking about how touched he is by having a child.
Probably not.
That's
Probably
not.
Almost certainly not.
How is this going to limit my career? That's what he's thinking.
Yeah, exactly. But there's always you see here when they mention the whole Romulan device and the way Gowron looks at Duras, he's like, yeah, we're going to get to the bottom of this because Gowron knows he's not behind it. So there's a good chance maybe Duras is. Anyway, so Duras kind of excuses himself here. Kaylar continuing in her quarters to go through the logs, trying to piece together what happened with the whole discommodation, why Worf did it, and what actually happened at Kittimer some 40-something years ago.
Can you go back one more? This arrangement is bonkers. The floral arrangement, it has cattails, it has gold baubles. It has, I love the floral design on this. I know I've mentioned it a lot before, but they reuse a lot of stuff, but this is one I've never noticed before.
A fun fact here, they were close to a funeral home and they would drop off the flower arrangements for them to use.
No doubt.
Yeah, I know. She looks good. And the flowers look good too. But she's like super sleuth Angela Lansbury here, trying to put together what happened here with the whole thing. Then we got Duras, who comes back to his quarters here on the Enterprise just for one of his guys to say somebody's digging through the Klingon records. I guess they had little flags on the files. I gotta look up who does the voice of this guy because it was such a familiar voice. Whoever voiced
I have that in fun facts for you.
Okay. Ooh. And he's like, someone's digging here, and he's like, okay, distract the guard. I'm gonna go see Kaylar right now. And so his guy just walks out, and then the security guard's like, hey, you can't go there. And then Duras just goes the other way.
Only one guard guarding this quarters. Are we for real here?
Apparently, yeah. It was that.
It's the same security crew who can't keep anything tight. They just
Worf's best, really. Anyway, so then he immediately is able to go to Kaylar's quarters, which I guess are pretty close. And he's like, why are you digging through the logs? And she's like, oh, I figured it out, Sonny. It wasn't Worf's father who was a traitor. It was your father. And he's like, you better start digging in there, woman. And he's, she's very fierce.
Murder. She hollow novel.
That's a good one.
I think she gave away too much here.
Yeah.
Well, she did. She lost her life, but
Yeah. Because it's presumably because she says,
Do not pursue this matter further.
The son betrays his people to the Romulans, just as his father did.
Duras. Which then goes to commercial, and presumably then he attacks her seconds later and stabs her. Now, no one hears this. Like, she doesn't have security at her quarters, but yeah, it's kind of crazy. Meanwhile, we get the one or two Beverly Crusher scenes here, where they're talking about the Klingons who were killed in the original explosion on Kimpek's ship, and that the dispersal pattern didn't make sense. And we find out that actually it was implanted in this guy's arm, and it blew up from his arm, and that it was one of Duras's men, in fact, who did it. Riker's like, which guy was it? Duras's man. And then we got Worf and Alexander coming back to Kalar's quarters, I guess maybe after their little Batleth lesson or something, as they come into the quarters, and Worf calls the medical emergency. Now, the response time on the Enterprise for medical emergencies is very long. I gotta say, they need to improve this statistic. But
just Dr. Crusher taking her sweet time getting there.
Again, they don't use the freaking transporters enough when they should.
They should just beamed her right to sickbay.
Yes.
It seems like would have been the best move here. The fact that she's not able to call for help in any way is kind of crazy to me. That like the Duras, did he disable the audio computer systems? But either way,
and also like my Google Home listens to me and serves me ads. Like, does the Enterprise computer not know when someone's getting straight up stabbed in their quarters?
They didn't know then, Heather. I mean,
it's the 90s. We didn't know yet. So
it's the 2390s. They should know.
Yeah,
I don't think they possibly fathomed how no privacy when you have all that stuff in your head. And they just didn't get it.
Yeah.
Because Data can discern like 1,000 conversations going on when he listens.
The knife was set to stun. Jim, you are cracking some great jokes tonight.
Yeah. We see that she's dying here. Yeah, poor sad Alexander. His mom is dying, and then Worf's like, "Was it Gowron? Was it Gowron?" And she's like, "No," and he's like, "Duras." But then she takes Alexander's hand and she places it in Worf's hand, his hand in Worf's hand.
Worf is like terrified.
Worf's like, "This is not the deal," but okay. He kind of looks at Alexander. And then she dies very quickly after that. And he cries out, he howls, he cries to Stovacor for her, scaring Alexander away as he scurries away at this shriek.
And Dr. Crusher walks in just in time.
Well, first, before he does that, he's like, "Hey, kid, have you never seen death before?" The kid's like, "No." He's like, "Then look at it. Look at it now and never forget what's happened here."
It's a good parenting decision.
This is Klingon parenting. I don't know if Kalar would have approved, but So.
She would not. She would have thought it was Klingon nonsense.
She would. And then Dr. Crusher shows up, and Worf's like, "Okay, this is my moment. See you later. Stay with the doctor. I got business." And
oh my God, I never even thought of that. He's just abandons Alexander. Oh, that's the first time he abandoned him in the first.
It won't be the last, even in this episode. Worf goes to his quarters, and he grabs his little Batleth and he throws off his sash, and then he takes off his communicator and he throws it on. He's like, "I'm not going as a Starfleet guy. I'm going for just a guy looking for the root of vengeance." As Kalar is taken away here, with a sheet over her, and they're all like, "Hey, where's Worf?" Computer doesn't know where Worf is. He's not on the ship. He beamed over to Duras's ship a little while ago, and Riker is assigned with going to stop him.
If this is such an emergency, why does Riker and Data take their sweet time getting over to try and stop this?
They had to get tricorders and phasers first.
Why?
I don't know. Anyway, so then Worf shows up, and first Duras doesn't want to deal with him. He's like, he's just some ugly traitor Klingon. I don't talk to these guys. And the guy was like, he's claiming right of vengeance. He's like, you got no rights here, you traitor, you know. And he's like, oh, but Kalar was my mate. And then everyone's like, oh shit, oh, this is going down now. Because I guess Duras came back and told everyone that he killed Kalar. I don't know how quickly the news circulated here, but
I'm sure the Klingons are very gossipy.
They like to boast, and I guess all the Klingons around are like, okay, Duras, you're gonna have to fight him now. So good luck. And we see Duras gets out, like, not a batleth, but just like almost like a katana like sword for his side of the fight. And this is going down. Meanwhile, we got Data, Riker, and one random security guy going over. They're like, well, what if Worf doesn't want to come with us? Set your phasers to maximum stun.
Good luck with that.
Good luck with that, yeah. As Worf is now fighting Duras in this duel, Worf pretty much owning the fight to the point here where Duras gets into it. He goes like, I'm probably going to lose this fight. You kill me, Worf, and you'll never be innocent. You'll never prove your innocence and clear your name. And Worf's like, I don't give a damn. So be it. You're going down here, Duras. And just as Riker and Data show up and go, Worf, no! Worf goes, oh, yes. Worf swings that batleth right down into Duras and kills him pretty decisively here. And Riker and Data are just like, ooh, that was pretty gruesome.
Riker's asking, what do I do now?
What do I do now? Yeah. What are my orders, Captain? Anyway, and Worf, I don't think he feels. There's no regret here from Worf. I would say. Oh yeah, he gets it good here. This is a year before Star Trek VI: The Undiscovered Country, where they try to retcon the Klingon blood is purple. Clearly, this is red, but that was done because they thought that the red blood in the movie was too much, or it would have got them like a higher rating. So anyway, Worf has defeated Duras, and we see that the Klingon ships leave, and it's just the Enterprise. And Picard is not too happy with Worf. He's like, yeah, the Klingons, they don't care about this. They consider it a closed matter. I don't. I'm pretty pissed off about what you did here. Worf's like, I was following my own culture, and he's like, listen, there's 13 planets represented on this ship, and we can't let them all go around with their cultures all the time. I
respect cultures and traditions, except this one.
Except for this one, I respect all the cultures and traditions, except for the ones that lead to murder. He's like, yeah, we all liked Kalar, we get it. Come on, man. And then he's like, I'll put in a formal reprimand on your record if you're not resigning from Starfleet. So
I don't think he's gonna care.
I think it's a pretty light slap on the wrist, all things considered.
Going on your permanent record, Worf.
This is going on your permanent record, Worf. And then he goes, well, hey, now that Duras is dead, why keep the secret to protect Duras's father and the family and everything else? And Worf's like, oh no, the High Council, they were keeping that secret too. Like, they're not, like, I can't just divulge that, without major consequences. So, but now I guess this de facto makes Gowron the Chancellor, now that Duras is gone. Then we get the kind of a final scene here between Alexander and Worf. I'll
never smile again.
I'll never smile again. Worf's like, so I called my human parents on Earth, and they're coming to get you. We're gonna meet up at the starbase. He's like, I'm not gonna stay with you. He's like, you can't stay with me. Like, you deserve a house and stuff. Also,
I don't want to be a dad. I didn't ask for you, and you can go live with your grandparents, bro. See ya.
It's pretty quick. And he's like, listen,
your bags? I'll get it ready for you.
But Alexander does ask him, like, are you my father? And he goes, yeah, I am.
I don't know. That look suggests he's gonna make a phone call to Maury.
Once I see the DNA results, then sure.
We're just gonna go visit Dr. Crusher to determine that.
Yeah, just be 100 on it, you know. Question: watching Picard dress down Worf, what would Sisko, Janeway, and Kirk do to Worf after he killed Eris? Well, I can tell you what Sisko would do. Like there was that time
erase the entire log. Problem solved.
Well, he did give Worf a dressing down once. If I can find that, you know.
Yeah, for going back to get Jadzia.
No, it wasn't that time. It was the time he stabbed Kern in the heart because Kern wanted to die. You remember that one?
Yes. But also, he didn't get anything more than a reprimand that time. Worf is just going around straight up murdering all the time. Apparently, murder's legal in Starfleet if you're a Klingon.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's kind of the way it goes here because they're like, well, it's part of the culture, but it's kind of an unsavory part of your culture, if we're being honest. So I don't know. Jeez,
you could just program the morning show on the holodeck. That's good. Good comment.
In the case of Alexander Worf, you are the father.
Second, I know I have it here somewhere.
Where Sisko gives Worf a dressing down.
Yeah, about like it's one of my favorite ones, but I have so many of these clips now that after over this many years, I can never find them quickly when I need to.
Well,
here, found it, got it.
But in case you haven't noticed, this is not a Klingon station, and those are not Klingon uniforms you're wearing.
There you go. Anyway, all that for that. But that's what Sisko would do.
Now, okay, so what would Janeway do? Kirk would probably have high-fived him about it. What would Janeway do?
I think Janeway would go and have a coffee with him and try to rationalize it. And
it would be a Ractigino, though.
Yes.
She's culturally sensitive. Anyway, and then there's a little hug here between Worf and Alexander. He's like, "See you never, kid. Whatever next time I bring you back." And
enjoy the pie.
End. Enjoy the Rotec Klingon blood pie. Your grandmother, very good at it. And that is the episode in screenshots. Adam, would you love to tell us about the fun facts of this?
You actually, I do want to talk to you. Can you bring them back? Go back to Worf's quarters, please.
Like that?
No, one more. Keep going. I'll tell you when to stop. Keep going. There. Okay. So I see that weapon on the counter there with the spikes coming out of it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Recognize that?
I do. Oh, it's from the Tashiar episode, isn't it?
The Code of Honor.
Code of Honor.
Oh.
It's Ligolian a weapon that was used in that episode. This can be seen. So Worf had it. He saw it when he got his batleth, and then he saw it a couple times in this episode. But Klingons had Lingolians had the same value to honor it. So Worf took that with him.
Oh, so it's not meant to be like a Klingon thing. It's meant to be something he's collected. Okay.
He felt an attachment to those guys.
Gotcha.
Which is probably one of the worst episodes in Star Trek.
Yeah, we gave it a 1. I think was our rating on it. Okay.
Okay. So so this was the first time that the batleth is seen.
Sexy fun fact.
This is the first time a batleth is seen. Really?
Mentioned or named. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Really?
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then in subsequent episodes and spin-offs, this becomes a major part of Klingon culture.
Mm-hmm.
But I really don't know if it does. When did that episode where he had the batleth tournament or something? That was later on too, wasn't it?
Season 7.
In season 7, Parallels.
Right.
Great episode.
The batleth was designed by visual effects coordinator Dan Curry, and Michael Dorn had been asking the producers for some time to create a signature weapon for Worf. It was decided that this would be the perfect opportunity to introduce one. In addition to his artistic skills, Curry was an experienced martial artist. He drew from inspiration from several real-world weapons to create the blade that looked distinctive but also made ergonomic sense.
I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube over the years about like, does the Bat'leth make sense or not make sense? And there's some interesting like rationales about how it's more of a defensive weapon. They call it the Sword of Honor, right? And like some of the things they retconned about it later were that like it's meant to be a more of a defensive weapon so that not all the warriors kill each other while they're practicing fighting. It's kind of more for sparring, really.
Yeah.
Even though you can definitely kill people with it.
This is also the first time we see the Vorcha-class Klingon cruiser, as we saw in debut tonight. That was designed by Rick Sternbach. He wanted to pay homage to the original Klingon cruiser design, but also show Starfleet influences in the design since the Klingons and Federation were now allies, and presumably shared some technology. He stipulated that the Vorcha-class would be about 3/4 the size of a Galaxy-class ship. And when he constructed, and this is the cool part, back in the day, this is before computer generated stuff. So this was actually a model. It was 3 feet long and basically 3/4 the length of the Enterprise model.
Okay, and I love the design. I like it more than the Bird of Prey, actually.
Yeah,
wait for it.
Agreed. This is the only episode in which Alexander is played by John Paul Stewart. In all subsequent episodes, the young Alexander is played by Brian Bonsall. James Slam played a future version of himself in Firstborn, and Mark Warden played him in Deep Space Nine, Sons and Daughters. You are cordially invited.
Yeah, apparently, so John Paul Stewart, he only won the role because he was able to sit through the makeup. He was like the one kid they could get to like sit there for 3 hours and actually do it without causing all kinds of stink.
Yeah, well, actually, Jonathan Frakes, not Riker, Jonathan Frakes came to observe that he was a little too shy as a young Klingon, and was probably the reason he was recast.
Well, he's what, like 2 years old in this episode? Like a year? Like how old is Alexander
and
really?
He's part human, raised by a human Klingon mixed person who doesn't go in for all the Klingon stuff. So culturally, he's more human than Klingon.
Yeah. And he was growling at those kids about the block. What do you want?
Yeah, I think those kids didn't think he was too shy.
When Picard accepts Kim Peck's request, you can hear Jerry Goldsmith's Klingon theme from the first and the fifth movie in the background, apparently. I guess it's playing very quietly. I don't remember that. As of this episode, we heard that there's 13 representatives from 13 planets among the crew of the Enterprise. We only really see, I don't know how many.
Well, just in the main cast, you got Worf, Kronos, and then you got Deanna, Beta Z, all the humans from Earth. I don't know if they're counting Data in there or not as like another planet.
It's from Omicron Theta.
Yeah, he's from a different planet, but he was built by a human, so I don't know what how to classify him. But yeah, there's not too many.
Raised by humans.
Like the Crusher grew up on the moon, or she's born on the moon and grew up on another colony. She's not really from Earth either. So.
Oh yeah. Hi Sam, welcome back.
Hey there.
Yes, we are in fun fact.
Sexy fun facts. Sexy Klingon fun facts.
Yep. Charles Cooper played Kim Peck. This guy was great. He also played Cord in Star Trek V: The Final Frontier.
Yes, which is a year from... No, it was the year before this, right? Or a couple of years before the Star Trek V, because Star Trek VI is about to be... Or they're probably shooting Star Trek VI at this point.
So he basically he just changed the way he looked because he drank a lot on that planet too.
Yeah, he played like kind of these washed out Klingon guys that like sort of past their prime, right? In both cases. Interesting that they brought the same actor for both roles.
He became an ambassador, and they put him on the worst possible planet to be an ambassador on.
On the planet of galactic peace, yes. Nimbus 3.
I think the Klingon you were talking about earlier was his name is Basil Wallace. And he was credited as Klingon Guard number 1. He became He became a named character in the official Star Trek customizable card game, Clique.
Yeah, but I knew his voice from something. Like he's the one who.
If I can find a memory for you here.
I'm looking at his filmography, and he's been on everything from Quantum Leap to ER to I don't know, like NCIS.
A lot of he's been on a lot for sure.
He was in Free Willy too. I would say the lesser of the Free Willy movies, wouldn't you?
I haven't seen any of those.
Me neither.
Well,
maybe I saw Free Willy. I don't know, Dave. That's all right.
I definitely saw it, but the South Park episode Free Willsy X is excellent.
mm-hmm. There you go.
Okay. Worf eventually kills both candidates for Chancellor here. He kills Duras in this episode, and then Gowron 9 years later.
Yeah, he's killing nobody's had more influence on Klingon politics in the 24th century more than Worf. Maybe Kimpak would be the only one.
The biggest assassin ever.
Yeah, and he didn't get in trouble for any of it.
He decided Martok would be the next chancellor. Like he actually handpicks him. He's like, "No, I don't want it. Give it to Martok." Which I don't even know if that would work. Like what? So some other guy killed the leader, and then he said this guy is the new leader. Like, why would you accept him? Right. But that's a whole other discussion.
All right, so let's get down to the business here. So during the scene where Worf's getting a little worked up there and Kayla is quite willing and consensual, we thought that we were going to get into a sex scene, but that didn't happen, unfortunately, because Worf then worried about his honor. Anyway, ask the question, is there a difference between how Klingons practice sex and how humans practice sex? Well, no, actually, they practice this in the same way. However, Klingon sex is known to be very combative and intense, but a very rough kind of a play then versus humans. So they're biologically and culturally norms make the process very ritualized, but as I say, combative. This is interesting, guys, and I didn't know this until tonight. Canon also confirms that Klingon males may have or do have 2 penises and 4 testicles.
That is correct.
So, do the Klingon women have 2 vaginas?
Yes.
They do?
Yeah, they must.
Yeah. That's not in canon. That's not confirmed. But
do they have 2 buttholes too? That's another question.
2 of everything. Redundant.
2 of everything.
Klingons have 2 of
efficiency.
everything.
They only have 2 ears and 2 nostrils still and eyes.
That's
2 spines.
Yeah.
Klingons have multiple backups for most vital systems, and their reproductive systems must follow the same pattern. So in Discovery, that's where it was actually confirmed. When the Klingon was urinating against the wall, you saw 2 streams of urine hitting the wall. That's right.
They got 2 dicks. So, and your imagination just runs wild after that whole prospect, really.
Well, a little bit. Now, get this. There's actually mating rituals may differ between the houses. Klingon houses. So House of Mog, stoic, traditional, ritual heavy. So emphasis on ritual purity and formal courtship, controlled aggression rather than chaotic passion, and a strong focus on vows, oaths, and ceremonial roles. Sort of makes sense considering what we see.
I know in that episode, Deep Space Nine episode, looking for Parmak in all the wrong places, and Worf talks about Grilka being from the Mekrovac region and how you have to bring some kind of an animal or something to the dinner, and you got to throw it on the table, and it's there's every region or culture, I guess, within Kronos would have its own variations on these rituals.
Well, I mean, I don't think. I think that Worf broke from tradition a little with Jadzia, who is 400 years old and has experienced life as many different genders, and was like, dude, let's just fool around. Okay, let's just knock each other around, break some ribs, and have a time. And then we'll go get fixed up.
You've got 2 dicks.
Yeah. So whip them out.
Do you remember that episode on the Orville where the engineer, what's his name, was having sex with that woman and he kept getting broken arms and
it was Lamar and Alara. Yeah,
that was great. Okay, House of Duras is political, theatrical, and dominance driven, and we don't really see anybody in Duras' house except the Duras sisters who are like that. But Courtship is a political performance. Displays of dominance matter more than maturity, and rituals are often exaggerated, stylized to project strength. And then I won't go on beyond this one, but House of Martok, mutual respect, warrior equality. Courtship emphasizes mutual strength and shared hardship. Partners often spar as equals, and emotional honesty is valued more than theatrics.
And I think we've seen in canon that the Martok and Sorella like to joke around with each other as much as Klingons do. I expected you to be in your grave by now, and I shall endeavor to die this year if possible. And then he's like, oh, what a magnificent woman. So as much as Klingons like flirt, I
got the clip here.
My deterioration is proceeding apace.
I thought you would be in your grave by now.
I shall endeavor to die this year if possible.
That's so hot, though.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And what does he say here? Well, yeah.
Well, the truth is, she doesn't like you that much either. Hey, don't let that bother you. I had every right to bring you into the family, and she's accepted the fact that there's nothing she can do about it. How comforting.
Oh, those lighthearted, wacky Klingons.
Well, you remember when Worf, who was bantering with Worf and talking, it was Guinan and saying, hey, well, some women on here would be finding you attractive. Human
Maybe
women
might find you a little tame. And he was like, ha ha ha, never. Give me another crude juice.
A warrior's drink.
Warrior's drink indeed. All right, is that the end of fun facts?
Description talking about dual phalluses. I think we'll move on to ratings.
Okay. Well, where do you go from there, really? Right. Okay. So ratings.
I knew everything about Star Trek, but every time I learn something on this with you guys. So here we go.
Always good to learn. Always keep learning every day. Okay. So we are rating Reunion here. Let's put down a score. I'll go first if we're good. I love this episode. I think it's pretty flawless, actually. It's not like much of a science fiction episode, story. It's more just like a political intrigue, which I think is part of this whole dynamic of the show. So I think I'm at a 10. Sorry, it's a 10. Adam.
Okay, I too love this episode because of what the story became out of this episode. This became, for me, one of my favorite parts of Next Gen. The only reason I wouldn't give it a 10 is because they killed off Kalar and did not use Susie for more roles. So 9 for me.
9 from Adam. Okay, Heather?
You both have said what I wanted to say. I'm still going to give it a 10, even though they did kill off Kalar, which is an absolute crying shame. And I would like to share, I may have shared it before on the channel, but I was watching this episode with my bonus dad one time. And I said, what a shame that they killed off Kalar. And he said, yeah, I wonder why they did that. And I said, so male characters could have feelings about it. And he said, oh boy.
And with that, Shaggy, your rating.
Like I said earlier, this is a top 3 episode for me. I would have given this a 10. However, I have to dock a half a point for Alexander's introduction. I'd never get the hate that Wesley Crusher gets when a character like Alexander exists. And then I have to deduct another half a point for killing Susie Plaxton. So this is a 9 for me.
A 9. Okay. All right. So Adam and Shaggy at 9, me and Heather at 10. Mm-hmm. And we're averaging at 9.5, of course, between the 4 of us. The IMDb score for this episode is 8.3, pretty high for an IMDb score. Not best of both worlds rating type thing, but up there.
Jim the Casual.
Jim the Casual says dock another half point for child abandonment. I like how child abandonment is more serious than straight up murder that Worf did in this episode. But
yeah, we haven't really talked about that. But does everyone feel like Worf did the wrong thing?
No.
Nope.
Great. Good job. It was on Klingon tradition, and he killed Kalar.
I'd have been right behind him in battle.
You know what? If it didn't happen then, it would have happened in the next episode. So,
Sam said 8.5, and then he changed his mind and said 9.
Okay, Sam. Well, we appreciate that rating.
JR says, I love this episode, but it's a 9.5. So I imagine that's probably for the same reasons that y'all deducted points.
Yeah. Can I just add one more thing? You know, would he have killed him? Like, Duras was like he wasn't a very strong character either. So, you know, him as Chancellor just didn't make sense. He didn't have that gravitas that you would expect a Chancellor to have. And the way they introduced Gowron, we didn't see too much of him, but now all of a sudden he's a Chancellor. But he had powerful presence on that stage tonight.
Yeah, and I agree with you that like Duras, like in his 2 appearances, I've had my fill of Duras, and the Duras sisters are a major upgrade to like the villain aspect of his faction. And we only have to wait to the end of the season to get there. So he served his purpose, but
yeah.
Somebody asked in the chat earlier, who do you think is more interesting, Duras or his sisters? 100% the Duras.
The sisters by far.
Absolutely.
By far. It's just too bad we never got to see them interact with each other, you know, like because they're.
No, but we get the nephew or whatever he is. That
Toral, yeah.
Toral. No, that guy kills me. That little kid. And Pipsqueak comes into the council.
He's like, I can do it. Here I come.
Shut up, boy.
Shut up, boy. You're a figurehead. You're a political puppet. All right. Well, that is our rating for Reunion. Looking ahead to the next episode, we'll be back next week to talk about Future Imperfect. And in this episode, during an away mission, Riker falls unconscious and awakens 16 years in the future, now captain of the Enterprise with no memory of the years that have passed. And as the illusion unravels, he begins to suspect that nothing is about this future is what it seems to be. So
I really like these comm badges. I think these are. I'm not saying I hate the pips, but I think I like these comm badges a little bit better.
They're
like
cool.
with the ranks and stuff built into them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, it's very weird to see Data in a command red uniform. Like it almost looks photoshopped.
Yeah, this is not the only time he does appear, because Jellicoe will later put him in red as well. During that.
I can't wait to just rag on Riker in this one. So you have to go.
You better watch it. This is one of my favorite episodes. It's so good and so fun.
And it's going to point out how bad of an officer he is. It's going to be great.
He's one of the best, man. He's saved Earth from the Borg. Come on, he's a
dream.
Hero.
It was all a dream, guys.
It was all a dream.
This is no time to talk about time.
This is no time to talk about time, indeed. Well,
we haven't got time.
And check out our other stuff here on Live Long and Podcast. We just finished up For All Mankind Season 5. Much to Adam's enjoyment that we're done with reviewing those episodes. So you can check out every episode of For All Mankind. We've talked about all of them. We are replacing that podcast this Monday. I don't have a card to show, but it will be Firefly is the next show we're watching on Monday nights. We're going to get through the 13 seasons.
I'm putting this away now until next season, which will come in 2 years.
2 years, but and then you'll be like, maybe I do like this show, and then you'll.
No, I will not say that.
Also, check out our Super Mario Brothers podcast, where we just wrapped up season 50 of Survivor. All 13 episodes covered in that podcast on the Super Mario Brothers podcast channel. And our friends at Hey, Did You See This One? They're on tonight talking about Jennifer's Body. So go check out that.
How long could they talk about that movie? It's terrible.
Probably 5 hours minimum. So they're always in for the long haul. Like being on that podcast is an experience. So I would recommend you try one of these days.
When I'm off the next day, maybe I'll try it someday.
Yeah, you better have a couple days off. Okay, well, we're gonna leave with some great parenting advice here tonight, and we'll see you next time here on Live Long and Podcast. Thanks to Adam, Heather, and Shaggy for being with us. And if you've never seen death, then look and always remember.
If you have never seen death, then look. And always remember.
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, Did You See This One? And take a peek into the darkness with Heard Noise, Must Investigate with Michael Chan. Watch us duke it out on trivial debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mater Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.